he was a great speaker and I learned a lot from him. Chris is currently a member of the GTLA's inaugural lead program class. He has been widely recognized for his accomplishments, including super lawyer for the past 4 years. He's a member of the Atlanta Business Chronicle's Who's Who in Law. He's also a finalist for the nation's best advocates, 40 lawyers under 40. He secured a $1.5 million verdict in Camden County. That is impressive in and of itself. For a sexual assault and a premise liability case. Then followed it up 6 days later with a six-figure slip and fall verdict in Hall County. How do you try a case? That's amazing in itself. I'm pretty much done. And the reality of it is he's an amazing lawyer. He's so passionate about what he does for not only as a lawyer but for his clients. He markets himself well, he markets his firm well. We can learn so much from Chris, and the biggest thing that Chris has done for me in my practice is make sure I got to get up earlier just to keep up with him. He has definitely motivated all of us as lawyers, and I'm proud to introduce Chris Stewart.
I don't know who he's talking about. I guess my topic is identifying good and bad car accidents from intake, resolving them quickly. Really, it's how do we make money on car accidents? That's really the topic, and I can say I developed that skill with my 8 years at Morgan & Morgan, because I think I've handled about 3,500 car accidents, tried about 30, and managed about 500 at all times. So car accidents pay, just point blank period, they pay, but there's a formula to a car accident. A lot of us don't want to be bothered with them, especially now that I've left and started a firm. Car accidents are kind of annoying because you get dragged into them and then you end up having to try them, and you get your butt handed to you a lot, especially when you're taking the wrong kind. And that's the key, is taking the wrong car accident is just the worst thing you can do. We prove nothing to ourselves, GTLA, or our friends by taking a no property damage car accident, rear-end collision, and your client is 6'4", a former Olympic track star with a sore neck to trial, as I did, and got destroyed. It was so bad that Judge Panos and I started laughing during the trial. I'm dead serious. I wish he was here. He started laughing on the bench. I started laughing, and the jury, he let 6 go. The jury started laughing. I mean, that's how bad some of these are, and I'm not even going to explain how many of those crazy ones I've tried. I sued somebody, my client rear-ended them. I went and tried it, and she was 16, and she fake cried, but and I lost. But they pay. I mean, they just pay. And, my paralegal had a heart attack when she saw the documents that I was giving. But I mean, like I tried to explain earlier, like I tried to explain to a lot of the young lawyers. I mean, it's been practicing 10 years now. I don't know if I'm still young or not. I feel like it's 50 years. But there's no point in not helping or passing on the information that you figure out works. From handling that many car accidents, I just discovered what it is exactly the insurance company is looking for. So in your packets, what I gave was the exact documents that we use every day, and now we, take catastrophic, but we take soft tissue also, certain ones. So you'll see what we call our what to secure list. And it is 8 things that literally they're going to ask you for in the case. Photographs. You've got to get the photographs of the car. If you can't prove what it looked like, then you can't prove how bad the damage was. The incident report. There's no point in waiting. Go ahead and get it. If you've got a detective, get it. But the quickest way to get the incident report or police report is get your client to do it. They're going to moan and not want to do it, but go get the clients, go get the police report. They can get it immediately. The citations. You need to know what they are, because sometimes we'll have one of our friends that does defense work or handles traffic situations go fight the ticket. I mean, it comes in handy down the line when he gets the ticket dismissed that your client may have gotten. So you need to know what the citations are. Witnesses. It amazes me how sometimes, we would let witnesses who are right in front of our face on the police report just go uncalled when, we call them once it goes to litigation, and not only did they see the accident, but they saw your client crying, they saw them bleeding. We had one guy that had even took out his phone and taking pictures. Why people do this, I don't know. He walked up to help her, but when he helped my client who was trapped in the car, he stuck his phone in and snapped pictures of the bone popping out of her leg. Why he did that, I don't know. And he didn't tell the police he did it. But once we called him and talked to him, those were the key pictures. I mean, this guy took a picture of my lady trapped in the car with a bone sticking out. And that was huge for me. It was huge for me. But, we never would have found that if we wouldn't have called him, and it was a bad number. But then I got my detective to track him down, show up at his house, and get him on the phone with him. So, witnesses are huge. They change the dynamics of the case because the insurance company thinks we're liars and they think our clients are worse than us. Doctor or hospital visits. We gotta monitor that. Don't let your people just do what they want treatment-wise. A lot of times they're gonna pull the tough guy, routine. My dad will not go to a doctor if he had been shot in the leg. I mean, they gotta go to the doctor. Don't tell them what to do, but if they're hurting and they're in pain, they need to treat. Being tough doesn't help your case, and it doesn't help them, which is the goal. Prior medical and psychological records. If you don't get those, then you're setting yourself up to get blindsided. Find out in intake and in your intake form, you need to have a prior medical section. You need to find out where they treat it and order those records. I mean, it's a couple $100, but you do not want the deposition where your client is sitting there and, I've never had a shoulder issue before, and then you see the defense attorney. Whenever they start nodding while they're still looking at your client and doing like this, then you know what's about to happen. And then they're like, okay, so in 1996, you didn't tear your right rotator cuff? And I'm, no, okay, well, what is this? And I mean, it's pointless. You didn't prep them, and that's the thing, it's our fault. I mean, it's happened to me before. I didn't prep them. They forgot that they had hurt their shoulder a couple years ago. But if I would have reminded them, then that would have helped. Same thing with prior arrests. My guy thought that he just used to sell weed. He forgot he used to sell ecstasy. I mean, that could have happened last week. He testified he only sold weed. Totally. She proved he sold ecstasy too. I mean, it doesn't hurt his, it hurts his case, but it is what it is. They're both bad. But if I would have gotten his old police record, I would have told him, you sold ecstasy too. I mean, and we would have fixed that. But it looked really bad in the deposition because then it became, an argument over how many bags and just all kind of mess. When if he would have just said, like he did with the marijuana, yes I did, it would have been over. But, that was my fault. The insurance policy and deck page. I know some young lawyers that send their demands out without knowing what the policy is. I don't even know how we can do that because you judge your demand by what the policy is sometimes. If it's 25 and you got 7 in bills, then I'm holding the whole thing because I know I've got a good chance that I can take that to trial and possibly beat it. Especially if you got 12 in bills, you need to know what the policy is because that does factor into your evaluation. So we don't send a demand out until we have the debt page because you gotta know that for your hopes, and hopes are still powerful in car accidents. Records from the employer, they're not gonna take your word for it, on your client's word that they missed work because they were injured. You've got to, and I should have included that, I'll email it to anybody if they want it. The lost wages verification form, their boss will just fill it out. It's a couple lines. That's the only way they're gonna actually value your lost wages. If you just stick in, they missed 3 days from work, I'm telling you right now, Geico's gonna tell you, take that 3 days somewhere, they're not gonna believe it. You've gotta have that lost wages verification. And they really don't believe that, but they at least know if you go to suit, you're gonna depose whoever signed that. And that's a way to add literally another couple thousand on a little demand. The last thing that